Earlier today, Joe Biden, I'm sure he mumbled the words as usual. He said this: if Trump wasn't running, I'm not sure I'd be running, he said at a campaign event today. How do you react to that?
Well, I think somebody gave him a talking point. They thought that would sound good. You know, I just found out that Democrats are funding Nikki Haley's campaign. I hear that Democrats are contributing to Ron DeSantis's, or Ron DeSanctimonious, to Ron DeSantis's campaign. And then you hear the talking points. That's the only thing they're good at: cheating on elections and great talking points. They say, we want to run against Trump. They want to run. Well, we did really well in 2016, and we did so much better in 2020. The person they don't want to run against is us. It's us. It's not me. It's us. Because it's a movement, the likes of which this country, Sean, has never seen before.
Justice attempted to sweep everything under the rug. The potential of President Biden's involvement here in stonewalling their investigation is crucial, because it's along the lines of the argument that House Republicans are now using to warrant why they say they need to authorize this impeachment inquiry into the president so that they can get the records that they need. Now, the White House has pushed back, saying that they have complied. They've provided thousands of documents from the Treasury Department to the committees who are investigating this. But Speaker Mike Johnson today testified, saying that the White House is still preventing them from interviewing key witness testimony key witnesses that have been subpoenaed by Congress, as well as preventing them from
stonewalling.
Here's Johnson.
And the House has no choice, if it's going to follow its constitutional responsibility, to formally adopt an impeachment inquiry on the floor, so that when the subpoenas are challenged in court, we'll be at the apex of our constitutional authority.
And Speaker Johnson says that they're going to be holding this impeachment inquiry vote into President Biden next week, where he says he's confident that in their slim majority, they do have the votes that they need to pass it. Steve?
NTV's Melina Weisskopf reporting for us live from the Capitol. Thank you, Melina.
During the hearing, and that they instead opted to defend open discourse on campus. Ariane Pastar, NTV News.
How do lawmakers on the House Education Committee feel about today's hearing? Are they satisfied with what the university presidents had to say? Joining us now with perspective, we have Congresswoman Julia Letlow, who is also a member of that committee. Congresswoman Julia Letlow, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Steve.
Of course, Congresswoman, President of Harvard, MIT, and Penn, all on the Hill today to answer questions related to anti-Semitism on college campuses. Were you satisfied with the testimony you heard today?
I was absolutely not satisfied. And as a former educator and administrator in higher education, I was quite frankly embarrassed by their answers. A lot of lip service was given today, a lot of condemnation for the events that have taken place on their campuses, but I didn't hear any calls to action. I didn't see that they're actually putting forward a plan to expel these students who did horrific acts on their campuses.
I mean, you would think, of course, I think we all place hope that college campuses would be in the hands of proper stewards of fairness and inclusivity. When asked if Israel had a right to exist, Harvard's president, Ms. Claudia Gay, failed to call Israel a Jewish state. Semantics or earnest in her response nonetheless?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what we're dealing with. When a bunch of my colleagues asked questions, she failed to answer them adequately. And you're absolutely right. Every college student deserves to walk across the college campus and feel safe. That should be our first priority as college presidents. And so I was quite frankly appalled with their lack of transparency and their lack of directness in the answers that they provided.
At the very least, do you hope that by having them testify in Capitol Hill will open the eyes to parents across the country?
Absolutely. You know, I've spent a lot of my time up here defending higher education. Again, I was an administrator, but today I lost a little faith in some of our institutions, but I'm hopeful that we can get it back. But again, we have to expose university presidents that are not doing the right thing.
Congresswoman, switching gears just a bit here, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson from your home state, making it clear today to the Biden administration that there will be no aid to Ukraine without immigration reform. Is this something that you're on board with?
Absolutely. We have to be able to take care of our own border when we are also providing aid to foreign countries as well. So I think that is a win-win solution. I'm very proud that he put that forward today.
And with a dwindling majority, with George Santos leaving the House of Representatives, being expelled for House Republicans, are you confident that the rest of the caucus will be on board?
I am. You know, I think all of us agree that we have to do something about our border. It is a humanitarian crisis. We have to take care of our own border as we are also looking globally what's happening across the globe.
And you know, the Biden administration has also been quite unequivocal on their end, digging in. Do you think the speaker will be able to ultimately get them to blink?
I do. You know, I have found
hope so.
Speaker Mike Johnson to be an honest, earnest man. He's strong in his convictions, but he's also kind. And I think that is going to get him really far. And I'm hopeful that he can really work President Biden on this issue.
Sweetheart deal. For evading taxes, they were just going to charge him with 2 misdemeanors, and he was just going to get probation, no jail time. This is a much more serious indictment. There are nine counts of both felony and misdemeanor charges, and he's alleged to have not paid $1.4 million in taxes, and it's a very serious indictment. It could end up with a lot of prison time and a lot of large fines that he would have to pay.
Now, to your point, prosecutors allege that Hunter Biden spent millions of dollars on an extravagant lifestyle rather than paying his tax bills. How damaging is that?
Boy, I tell you, this this indictment details a sordid lifestyle, something that's got to be very embarrassing to Joe Biden and his family. And by the way, while these are very serious charges, there could have been more felony charges. This is for 4 years of not paying taxes, but there were at least 2 more years where he didn't pay taxes. The only reason that's not in the indictment is because the Justice Department allowed the statute of limitations to expire on those other 2 years, even though they've had this evidence now for quite a long time. There's nothing really new in this indictment.
And given how serious these charges are, what is Hunter Biden's likely defense going to be?
I don't think he has a defense. I mean, part of what's going on here is they actually cite the indictment, cites from his own memoir, to show that he made false and fraudulent statements in his tax returns. Now, look, the one thing that is not in this indictment, which again, I just don't understand, is, look, the indictment details that he was representing foreign entities. Well, when you do that, you've got to register with the Justice Department under federal law. If you don't, that's also a felony. There's no charge in this indictment for his violation of that particular statute.
Now, on the flip side, the defense attorney Lowell is accusing prosecutors of, quote, bowing to Republican pressure in the case, saying that based on the facts in the law, if Hunter's last name was anything other than Biden, the charges in Delaware and now California would not have been brought. What do you make of that statement?